sentences? Today's an exciting day because today you're going to learn how to take your main idea map and turn it into a summary. But once again, let's go back to the beginning. What is a summary? You're just taking something that's a page or 2 pages or more long and retelling only the most important parts in just a few sentences. A summary is beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. Because I don't know about you, but have you ever been talking to someone and you ask them, hey, what was that movie about? And they start telling you every single detail from the movie from start to finish, and 2 hours later you're like, where did my life go? Yeah, we don't want to do that to people. So we want to be really good at summarizing things in just a few sentences. We want to make sure that in just those few sentences, we're able to capture the most important parts of whatever it is that we're summarizing. Most important. Does that sound familiar? The main idea is the most important idea in a section of text. So really, a summary is just saying the main idea and the key supporting details. Get some paper and a pencil and try this with me. I've chosen a section from If You Traveled West in a Covered Wagon to read that's called What Was a Covered Wagon? As I'm reading it, be thinking about, okay, so what is the author telling me? What is their main idea? What was a covered wagon? A covered wagon was a wagon with a white rounded top made of cloth. The cloth was called canvas and was rubbed with oil to make it waterproof. It was stretched over big wooden hoops that were bent from one side of the wagon to the other. There were drawstrings in the front and back of the canvas. If you pulled the strings tight, you could close the ends up to keep out the rain or wind. The canvas could also be rolled up on the long sides so that you could get a breeze on a hot day. The bottom part of the covered wagon looked like an ordinary wagon with one difference. The front wheels were smaller than the back wheels. That made it easier to make sharp turns. Inside the wagon, there were hooks on the wooden hoops. On them, you could hang milk cans, guns, bonnets, spoons, dolls, jackets, and anything else there was room for. Underneath the wagon, between the back wheels, there was a hook with a bucket full of grease hanging down from it. The grease was rubbed on the wheels so that they would turn smoothly. In the front of the wagon, there was a wooden board to sit on. The covered wagon was pulled by oxen or mules or horses. Many pioneers used oxen because they were stronger than mules and horses. Great, so let's go ahead and draw our main idea tabletop. If we had to say in just 1 to 3 words what this section of the text is mostly about, what would we say? I agree with you. This is mostly about covered wagons. Let's write that on the topic line. Now we need to ask ourselves, what is the author mostly saying about covered wagons? What's the main idea here? Well, it seems like the author is explaining a whole bunch of different parts that a covered wagon has. So how about a covered wagon has a lot of parts? Let's write that as our main idea. Okay, now what about our supporting ideas? Our supporting ideas should tell us some examples for the main idea. So if the main idea is that covered wagons had many parts, probably our supporting details should be at least 3 different important parts of a covered wagon. Well, let's see. Let's look at the beginning. What part is the author mostly talking about in the beginning? It looks like the author's mostly talking about the canvas. So let's write that down as our first supporting detail. What was important about the canvas? Well, one thing was that it was rubbed with oil to be waterproof. Another thing was that it had drawstrings to close it shut. And another important thing about the canvas was that it could be rolled up on the sides so that you could get a breeze on a hot day. When we're writing this in our main idea map, we don't want to write all of the words that the author said. What a waste of time, and that would hurt your hand. Just write the important stuff, and it's okay to use your own words. It's also okay to not use complete sentences on this main idea map. Okay, what about our second supporting detail? What else did the author mention? What other parts did the author talk about? Well, let's look. After the canvas, they start talking about the bottom part of the wagon, and there they talk about the wheels. Let's use the wheels as our second supporting detail. What was important about the wheels? Well, the author said that the front wheels were smaller than the back wheels to make it easier on sharp turns. Let's write that in our main idea map. So what's a third wagon part that the author mentions? Well, it looks like they talk about hooks on the inside of the wagon, but then in the next paragraph it talks about hooks underneath the wagon. So how about we just bunch those together and say our third supporting detail is hooks. There were hooks on the inside to hang things, and there was a hook underneath to hang a bucket full of grease for the wheels. Wonderful! Now that we have our main idea map, writing our summary is going to be a cinch. Now I find that writing things like summaries can a lot of times be easier if we have a writing frame. A writing frame helps us get started and leaves blanks for us to fill in. You don't have to write all of this in your notebook because it might take you a while. So just follow along with me, and don't worry, you'll get your chance to write your own summary when this video is finished. So here's a summary writing frame that I like. In the blank, and this is where we'll put if we're summarizing a paragraph, a section of text, or a whole text like a book. Called blank, if it has a title, it's good to say what it's called. The main idea is that blank. That's where we'll put our main idea. First, the author points out that this is where we'll put our supporting detail number 1. In addition, this is where we'll put our supporting detail number 2. Furthermore, this is where we'll put our supporting detail number 3. In conclusion, this is where we will restate the main idea with slightly different words. So let's take our main idea map and use it to fill in the blanks of our summary. Was this a paragraph? No, it was more than a paragraph. Was this a whole book? No, it was just a section of the book. So let's say in the section this section was called What Was a Covered Wagon? The main idea is that covered wagons had many parts. First, the author points out that one important part was the canvas. Notice how I'm taking my notes from my main idea map and I'm turning them into complete sentences. It was rubbed with oil to make it waterproof. Also, there were drawstrings to pull it tight, and the sides could be rolled up in hot weather. In addition, now it's time for the detail number 2, the author mentioned wheels. The front wheels were smaller than the back wheels. This helped with sharp turns. Furthermore, the author mentioned that wagons had hooks both inside and underneath for hanging things, like jackets or a bucket of axle grease. Notice how I cut out a lot of the details that the author included because they're just not that important. In conclusion, now here I'm going to go back up to my blue main idea and I'm going to write it here again. But so I don't sound like a robot, I kind of want to change the words a little bit. So I can say, in conclusion, the author showed how each part of a covered wagon had an important purpose. And my summary is done. Now it's going to be your turn. Remember back to last week when you read a fun section of the text called What Special Tricks of the Trail Did the Pioneers Learn? Well, you didn't know this, but I only gave you a part of that section to read. Today, you're going to be reading the entire section. If you need help reading the section, there's a video of me reading it on the next slide. As I'm reading the section, create your main idea map. When you're finished with your main idea map, move on to the next part of the task, which is to write your summary. Have fun with this, and as always, if you need any support, contact Ms. Haug, Mrs. Hetterly, or me, because we're here to serve.